finish up here, let's say we've got maybe 10, 15 minutes left. To finish it up, I want to touch on something that is a really passionate subject for a lot of people. And if it's just not something that is in your brain, not in your brain, but in your thoughts day to day enough to care at all, then just say, you know what, that's something I don't even have any thoughts on because I don't care. It doesn't bother me, you know.
Hmm.
But I want to talk about trans issues.
Hmm.
Um, I don't think I have to ask you what your views are on trans people, but but yes, I do. What are your views on trans people that you're okay saying out loud?
Okay. Um, I don't know if I want how personal I want to get in my own life. Um,
Don't, not at all if you don't want.
no, it's cool. Um, I guess what I would say is I try to understand people. Like I have, I would say sympathy for, and care. And I also would say I kind of understand it. And to get personal, I was sexually abused as a kid. And when I was young, I mean, I was 5 years old. So when I was around six, sorry, 6, 7,
Oh God.
sorry,
No, that's
no, 6, 7. That's the best part. No, it doesn't mean anything.
dictionary.com.
I love it. I don't get it, but anyway, I'm sorry.
It's okay. So
I
something
digress.
terrible happened to you.
Well, I was sexually, anyway, my own little brain thought that I was supposed to be a girl. So I felt like, God, you made me wrong. You made a mistake. I was supposed to be a girl.
Wow.
So I really thought that. So I get it. I understand it because I kind of in a way went through it.
Wow.
So it was personal.
Okay.
And so I do have sympathy for people that are struggling with that stuff. And um, I would say I would just be care, show care to them. I know a lady at work, her son is transitioning to a girl,
And
a woman.
you also spoke with
Oh yeah,
yeah, who's
he has family members. Yeah,
yeah, well, one of his kids is trans.
yeah.
Um,
So I get it, and I understand the care for people, and so I would show care.
mhm.
I would hope I'd try to share what I believe and what I feel in caring. Um,
What a fantastic perspective to come from, though, to be evangelical, to be Christian, to be conservative, and to I hesitate to use the word have to, but to have to say I have to have sympathy for those people because I went through something similar at a young age. That I guess that would make it real hard, wouldn't it, to invalidate the feelings of those people.
no, I wouldn't do me personally. I would be try to be understanding.
So how do you feel about, I mean, because the way the right wing and even just Fox News covers trans issues, it ranges from appearing to be confused about it, to appearing to be angry about it, to appearing to be hateful about it. And there's kind of three different shades
No,
of the coverage that it gets.
I don't know.
Um,
I don't watch them, so I don't know.
that's true, you don't. But I mean, not even just TV,
Well,
just
what I think what people, I don't know.
like Breitbart. How do you feel about their coverage of trans issues? How do you feel
Hmm.
like, so I'll bring up a specific example. Um, the right wing media sphere would have you believe that trans people have essentially taken over college sports.
Well, I think, well, yeah, I
Well, let
would
me get the fact
disagree.
out. Let me get the
Okay,
fact out. No,
okay.
the fact of the matter is there are tens of thousands of athletes. It might even be hundreds of thousands. I'd have to look it up, but the number is bigger than you'd
Yeah,
imagine of
yeah,
NCAA athletes. There are less than a dozen who identify as trans.
yeah.
But the right wing media sphere would have you believe that they've
Well,
just
I don't
taken
think so,
over.
but I think it would say it's 1% or something,
No,
right?
it's less than a dozen
So it's
individuals.
even less than 1%.
It's less than a
But I
percentage of
still don't think it would be right for a guy being playing with a girl,
But
with a
is it worth
girl.
the attention that it gets?
Probably
When the
not.
problem is so when the problem
Unless
is
it's
so
that direct person
right.
going through it. Like what was her name? I can't even think of her name.
Leah Thomas?
No, the girl Gaines that was
No, Riley Gaines.
Riley Gaines.
Who was mad at Leah Thomas?
Yeah, so it is connected.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I could see her point. I mean, you're taking away her, playing this basically
But you can't necessarily
guy.
believe that her story is true. Yeah, I mean, I try to give victims the benefit of the doubt no matter
Yeah,
what. But
yeah,
Riley Gaines' story is almost, it seems to me that
yeah,
it's almost certainly exaggerated.
yeah.
She has stories of not only Leah Thomas, but I think one other trans athlete.
And I think, okay, say me, I decided I was going to be a woman, and
Sure.
I got as big as I am.
Hmm.
I would not think it would be fair. I would still think I would have enough common sense to say it wasn't fair for me to go play against girls in different areas, or go in. If I wasn't, I don't think that'd be. Plus, I would hope I would want to be in like even going in the restroom. I'd want to be in a private area. I wouldn't want to just be. I mean, obviously there are definitely perverted people out there.
There are
I mean,
some.
it's and so I can understand why a woman would be upset with a guy maybe dressed up like a woman be in their restroom. That would be kind of like scary or whatever. I mean, can you imagine me coming?
No, I get it. I
Yeah.
really do
So I
get
think
it.
it's just understanding each other and trying to, me personally, is just trying to understand and have sympathy for the person. I don't know. That's just me.
No, I mean that makes perfect sense. And but by the way, folks, the reason I keep flicking my head over there is to make sure we got our connection. Um, I don't think that I believe what most. I think you might even be a little more forgiving than I am on trans issues,
Mm,
and I as a consider myself a liberal
yeah.
Democrat.
Yeah.
It's just one social issue that I have a real nuanced view on, and sometime I want to tackle it on an entire podcast because I don't think that it's fair to the issue to truncate it into a 10 or 15 minute
Yeah.
segment. But I wanted to hear
Well, I think it's wrong, but I think
what
we
you
need to
mean.
be
You mean in sports?
well, I think it's wrong for a guy to want to be a girl. I mean, I don't think we can do it. You know what I mean?
Now, see, that's interesting too. So you have
Even though I
sympathy, but you think
understand,
it's wrong.
well, I don't think we can actually do it. I don't think I could be a woman. I don't think I could become a woman. I don't know. Does that make sense? I don't think I could.
I mean, tackling it in an extremely superficial way, dear viewers and listeners. You know,
And I got way
if I
personal
show
that
up
I
at
experienced.
school, if I show up at high school wearing all black clothing
Yeah,
and I become a goth,
yeah,
I don't truly believe I'm a vampire, but
right, right.
I would never look at somebody and say you're wrong for dressing that way.
No, I
I
wouldn't
mean,
either.
it is very difficult for a male or female to biologically transfer to the other sex. It
Hmm.
is doable. You can never change how you were born.
Yeah, yeah. That's what I'm
You
saying.
can't change
That's
that.
what I'm saying.
But you can, for all intents and purposes, and even outwards appearances,
Oh yeah.
change to the other sex. But I would never take it upon myself to judge somebody and say what you're doing is wrong. I might say it's
Oh,
misguided. I might say I
misguided.
don't understand it.
Well, that's when you're curious. I'd be curious about it. Like, you know.
But wrong is a very heavy
Well,
word. I mean,
okay.
wrong it has to be tied to something. It has to be tied to a moral
There's a
structure.
reason.
What's the moral
What's
structure
the
that says it's
reason
wrong?
behind it? If for me, it would have been my abuse, I guess.
But again,
That
misunderstanding it or being confused by it doesn't make it wrong.
wrong. Well,
Wrong is tied to
okay.
a
I'll give you
moral
that.
structure of something.
Yeah, yeah.
It could be religion, it could be your own moral beliefs, but right and wrong are
Mm,
very specific terms.
right, right.
They are essentially are tied to good and evil.
Yeah.
But I find it hard to say, while I don't understand a lot of this is why I want to do a whole episode on it, because there's a difference between genuinely and people who are either confused at a certain age the way you were, or people who could have been born with hermaphroditic sexual organs, who literally do not
Yeah.
have a sex,
Right. I get that.
and you go, well,
That's rough.
what pocket do they belong in?
Yeah. And is it the doctor's
Yeah,
decision when you're young to say, "Oh, you're
yeah,
more
you
closer
are
to
a
the"?
girl or you are a boy. I
Yeah.
mean, maybe it is if they,
That's
I don't know, but
horrible.
I haven't studied enough to know
That would be
what
horrible,
they
I
do.
think. Yeah.
But there are everything from those folks. There are no, I don't know what the percentage is, so I'm not going to act like it's a lot, but there is some number of folks who say they are trans
Yeah.
who are either just confused or just
Yeah.
putting on a show
Yeah.
or trying to
Yeah.
provoke people. I don't know if that number is one out of a million or if it's 500 out of 600. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but there's some number of them. So, it puts all of us in a position where we have to try and be loving and understanding of everybody. But when you're doing that, you are giving the same credence to a criminal as
Mm,
you are to someone who, genuinely just stole a loaf of bread because they can't feed their family,
yeah,
like had a damn good reason for doing what they
yeah,
did, an
yeah,
undeniable reason for
right,
doing what they did, versus someone who's just, I'm, flouting the rules and I'm going to do what I want.
right.
And again, I have no idea what the percentages are, but when you have to treat every bit of the trans discussion with respect and assume that they're all truly transsexual or
Hmm.
truly, is it transsexual? Is that the full word?
I
We say
think so.
trans so often now, I've
I think it
forgotten.
is trans. Yeah.
Okay. So, assuming that someone really is transsexual, they deserve every bit of respect that we have to offer them.
Oh, definitely.
But someone who's just playing dress up,
Yeah,
they are besmirching those people.
yeah,
They are disrespecting those people who genuinely are trying to fight for rights that they truly need
yeah,
versus and anti-discrimination. And we're supposed to now give the guy who's playing dress up the same amount of respect as we're giving this guy.
yeah,
And again, this guy might be one out of a million. I don't know.
yeah.
But that's what I think makes the trans issue so difficult for anybody to come down on a correct moral side of. And so I think it's really an issue where right and left can come together because anyone who isn't trans or who doesn't have a trans family member has a really hard time identifying with it.
No, I get that.
And we can't
Yeah.
understand it and we're confused by it. And some people, depending on how you were raised, might even be frightened of it.
Oh, definitely.
And so you go,
I never talked about my abuse to my parents.
right,
We never went there.
yeah, it's not something you want to bring
I
up.
didn't start really dealing with it until I was in my mid 40s.
And that's also not to say that all trans people that is connected to some kind of abuse.
No,
That
not at
was
all.
your,
No, not at all.
experience, but
Not
not
at all.
everybody's.
No, I get that too.
So again, when there's so many different facets from people faking it to people genuinely feeling that way, to people who feel that way because of an experience like yours, to people who feel that way because they just woke up one day and totally felt different,
Yeah.
and genuinely do feel different. When
Yeah.
I'm supposed to treat all of these people with the same deference and respect and understanding, I mean, you're asking me to study world geography in the because it became popular over the last 3 years. Like, there's a lot to study to truly understand this issue. And so when right-wing media has such a definite opinion, this is
Yeah.
how it is, this is what we see, and we've got to stomp it out.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't think anybody can come to that conclusion, even if you supposedly had a
What
rationalization
what
for it.
what I think what I see like a lot you're saying the right wing media would be showing I think what they as is what I understand. What they don't like is having a drag queen coming into the library and reading to their kids. And a drag queen is usually very sexualized,
Not
you
that
know?
drag queens have anything to do with trans.
No, I know, but I think that's what I understand is the problem with what the right wing media is trying. That's how I get it.
Well,
Is
we,
they don't want, and they also would think that a trans would be the same in a way as a drag queen,
well, we
which isn't
covered,
true because I know that.
yeah,
I know, there's another lady I worked with. Her son became, he was a drag queen, and then now he's actually transitioned. He says he's another name, as a girl, a woman, and he's married to another transsexual that was at one time was born a girl and now a boy. So, I think, and I do, I asked her one day, is like, do you miss your son?
good
And
question.
she goes, yeah, I do. And I go, it's okay to grieve for that
Hmm.
because her son's gone.
Yeah.
He's like a total different person
Well, they call
now.
it dead naming when you call somebody by the
Yeah.
old name.
And I go, you can grieve. It's not wrong to grieve for your son
Right.
because you have a lot of memories. And that's sad to me
Hmm.
to think that, I felt sad for her because she was so caught up on feeling like she can't grieve for that person because that person never existed in a way. But I'm like, be real, that person did exist.
For you, they did, right?
Yeah, that was your son. That was your little boy,
Hmm.
and it was just her and him forever.
Yeah.
And then it's like, no, you should grieve. You should miss him.
Well, you brought
And
up the
why can't we just, you know?
you brought up the that you very aptly pointed out that a lot of the time the right wing media conflates trans issues with the drag queen in the
Yeah,
library,
yeah.
which, again, now just to explain to anybody who doesn't get the difference, which there is a huge difference, a drag queen is just somebody, well, the real meaning of a drag queen, because I don't know if you know this, but Elvira was
Mm.
considered the first drag queen. Elvira's a woman who
Yeah,
dressed up as
yeah,
a woman,
yeah.
but she dressed up as a vampiress.
Vampire. Yeah.
And because she dressed up as a vampiress, she considered herself a drag queen.
Hmm.
All the drag queens that came after, actually, I think it was Vampira, not Elvira. One
Oh,
of the
okay.
two.
Okay.
Anyhow, well, so drag queens really came from a culture of a regular woman dressing up as just more of a woman, like a cartoonish
Yeah.
version of a
Yeah,
woman.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And that is what drag queen is nowadays, at least
It's like a
colloquially.
portrayal or an art, like a
Yeah, colloquially,
costume.
it really just means basically a man who puts on women's clothing
Yeah,
for the purposes of entertainment.
yeah.
So, and that could be a completely straight, regular Christian man who happens to be a comedian, and so he dresses up as a woman. That's a drag queen. It could also be that they put on a whole drag show and try to be as womanly as possible, and whoever looks the most like a real woman
Mm.
wins the competition, but it's for entertainment purposes.
Yeah.
There's nobody who has a sexual preference or who has a an identification on their birth certificate that's now been changed by a judge that
Yeah.
says drag queen. It's
Yeah.
it's not the same thing. So a drag queen is
Mm.
really just a drag queen can shift back and forth from being a drag queen to being
Mm.
a woman to being a man in the three times in the space of an hour. A trans person, once they start the transition, it's assumed that it's going to be a permanent transition. It isn't always,
Yeah.
but it's assumed that it's a permanent, this is the way my life is day to day thing. So that's kind of the big difference, just to get that definition out there for folks. But um, well, I talked about this with one of my other guests, Lewis Davis, which was I told him I went to a couple of drag shows when I was a
Mm.
kid. My parents took me, and they weren't at libraries. I don't
Yeah.
remember where they
No.
were, but it
Yeah.
wasn't at a library.
Yeah.
And they weren't reading me books. It
Yeah.
was a family-friendly drag show where it's just comedy, and the men were dressed up as women. And I thought it was so silly
Yeah.
and funny and hilarious. And I got to meet the guys later on with their wigs off,
Yeah.
and because my mom was friends with a couple of them, so I
Yeah.
got to find out these are just normal men who are doing something funny.
Yeah. Like Flip Wilson back in the day.
I'm not a Flip Wilson guy, but
Hmm.
the idea is it was actually fun for me. It was a good
Yeah.
experience. It didn't make me gay. I
No.
didn't decide that I wanted to dress up like a woman when I grew up. I just
Yeah.
said,
Yeah.
"Whoa, what these dudes are doing is weird.
Weird.
Mom, these guys are weird."
Yeah.
And that's as
Yeah.
far as it went. And I
Yeah.
think stuff like that is fine, especially when it's explained by the parents
Yeah.
and when it's supposed to be fun and when it's family friendly.
Yeah.
I do think there is an issue of having trans story hour at a library, and here's why is I don't have a problem with trans story hour. I have a problem with it at the library because the library is publicly funded and everybody, people of all stripes, need to be able to come in and feel comfortable and learn. And it's an educational atmosphere. It's not an entertainment
Hmm.
atmosphere. I mean, insofar as reading a book is entertainment, but no, you don't go to put on a rock show at a library.
Right.
That's not what it's
Right.
for.
Right.
So I just think it's a silly use of public funds and a silly use of a public space. And I think that if parents want to take their kids to a family-friendly drag show, go ahead and do it. Well, there's no harm in it. Explain to them what it is, get some comedy out of it, go get some ice cream after. But Lewis specifically sent me a video, and I have not double checked to see if it's AI. I don't know if it's real, but I know pretty well how to spot AI videos, at least
Hmm.
when he sent it.
Yeah.
They're getting better, but
Yeah.
it appeared to be very real. It looked like it was in a cafe of some sort, and all the adults were sitting around watching, and the camera's back here. You got the audience, right? And then you've got what appeared to be a 5 or 6 year old little boy or girl. I don't remember whether they're boy or girl, sitting on kind of a little stool in front of everybody who's all smiling and laughing. And the drag queen flipped her skirt up and got down on all fours, not knees, but feet, and
Yeah.
started backing up like a strip of twerking.
Quirky.
Not, I mean, twerking and standing up,
Whatever.
but an all fours twerk. and backing up right into the kid's face, and all
Yeah.
the grown-ups were laughing. And I have
Oh,
to believe that the either the clip was out of context or that it was fake. I have to
yeah, yeah,
believe
yeah,
that.
yeah.
But if it was real, I'm as angry as anybody else is.
Sexualizing kids is never
Sexualizing
right.
kids is absolutely not
Never
okay
right.
in any, you don't have to be religious to know that.
No.
And so when it gets to stuff like that, I say this is something that maybe not to be afraid of, but it is something to be aware of, to, I don't know about even fight against, but something that at least you should look at the parents and go, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, pull your head out of your ass. This is not the way to parent your child.
No, not at
No matter
all.
what you believe. You want them to be open-minded, that's great. But
Yeah.
are you going to take them to a strip club?
No. That's
Because,
insane.
you know, so that's where I land, at least as superficially as we've gotten to it here. You are on the opposite of the conservative liberal bias as I am. So, how do you feel about everything I just said?
No, I somewhat agree with most of it. Yeah, that's good.
So, do you feel that the news is overhyping the drag queens and libraries thing versus when that's not even the heart of the trans issue? Or do you feel it's okay to do substitution?
So what do you mean?
Well, they kind of, I mean, if they wanted to actually cover trans rights, they could, and they could cover it in
Oh.
a compassionate.
Well, I guess what they also say is like, don't they already have rights? Don't they have rights? What rights do they not have? I guess. I don't know. Do
Well,
they need more
that's a
rights?
good point.
Do they need more
Because
rights?
they're
I
kind
mean,
of, I mean,
don't, if you're really,
when
you're a
you
person, you're a human
when you're
being.
wanting to change your birth certificate and your passport to a sex you weren't born, you are kind of asking for a right nobody else has, aren't you? Unless
So
everybody gets that right now.
maybe I don't
Because
think
you're saying I'm
so.
a female.
I
I mean, I don't. It's
don't know. It's a
it's
mess.
confusing.
Yeah.
I think the reason that I wanted to close on that subject is because I feel it's the thing that I can connect with conservatives most strongly on. Because I think when we talk about it in the terms we just discussed it in, it's kind of hard to disagree with all that. It seems like it to me. And I don't know who's going to come with an argument that I don't even know that I just made an argument, but it's to me it seems like I was just speaking common sense,
Yeah.
but maybe other people disagree. I
I
don't.
just think if you're, you see somebody and you just, I would most likely just talk to them normal. I mean, obviously you can tell they're whatever, but I would hope I would just, I did see a few. There was a kid at Starbucks for a while that was obviously, and then there was a guy trying to be, being a lady at the gym a while back. And, I mean, in a way, it has to be really hard for them to be looked. I don't know, maybe they want to have the attention. I don't know. It just seems like that would be really rough. And I
They
have
do want
sympathy.
attention.
I have sympathy for them just to be, especially in, I don't even know how you could manage it in this area. Because, I mean, you'd feel like you were hated all the time. And that would be horrible. I mean, that'd be rough. I don't like.
I think that is a great point that Larry just made, and I think it's actually a good place to leave it. But speaking of leaving it, there was one thing I wanted to look up because we discussed it for a moment. So I'm just going to look up, and again, I'm using Gemini here, folks. So feel free to use any other fact checking you want to do. Um, has there been any research into what percentage of right-wing media coverage on television is covering trans rights issues? I'm interested to know what percent. I don't know if anybody's looked it up. So no single study, but research shows that right-leaning media outlets. This is from significant. Oh, okay. Let me just. Sorry. Ignore everything I said so far. Research shows that right-leaning media outlets often focus on trans rights issues, a topic that contributes to negative public perceptions of transgender and non-transgender, not transsexual. Man, I
Oh,
forgot.
there you go, transgender.
See, that's what
That's it.
proves
That's the
belies
word.
my ignorance.
No, you're right. That now we remember.
High volume of negative coverage. One analysis found that over 41% of political ads from a specific election period were anti-trans, according to PBS. So, eh, that's so just keep that in your head, dear viewer and listener. But the next thing that I want to connect that to before we go, how many NCAA athletes identify as trans? So out of over 500,000 student athletes attending NCAA schools, fewer than 10 are transgender.
Hmm.
Fewer than, that's not 10,000, that's 10 individuals out of over 500,000. So you've got 500,000 student athletes, less than 10 of them are trans. So here's the, I don't know if it's a question or if I'm just making a point, but I think that the fact that so much, and you know what? If you're a right winger, you watch your own right wing coverage and you know damn well how much of it focuses on trans stuff and how much of it focuses on trans athletes. Don't you, right wing viewer, feel betrayed by your information source that there is so much important shit happening day to day that affects your day to day life? Really important stuff like the cost of your health care, who is going to be president, who's going to be, in charge of the laws that you have to follow, the prices of your eggs, for God's sake. And yet, it seems like about half the coverage that you watch is on trans rights stuff, when literally less than 1% of 1% of college athletes are trans, and they're covering, they're spending what seems to me like anywhere from 15 to 30% of their coverage talking about that. I mean, I, as a right wing media viewer, would be fucking pissed.